It's a beautiful day. 2024 coming to an end. It's Christmas. It's the afternoon. Decided to come and hang out at Newport Beach. I love the beach. I usually am grounding, but I'm wearing my shoes today. It's a little bit cold. Maybe I should take them off. Anyhow, a secret about me. Some know, some don't. I usually spend the holidays by myself. I would say not always by choice, but by habit, by self-sabotage, by via depressions, anxieties, mental health challenges. Again, this is some secrets about me that people don't know, but I'm opening to share for 2025. I'm really moving into the cycle of going back to helping men, in addition to my regular events, helping men overcome trauma, understand that they have trauma, and how it affects our lives, in our relationships, in love, in your love life, whether you have a girlfriend or a marriage or whatever it is, relationships with your kids, with your business, right? The energy that you're in is the success you're going to have. So if you're in a dark energy, it's going to affect all parts of your life, your relationships and your business. So I thought I'd talk a little bit walking down the beach with some personal thoughts and things that I see that affect me. Okay? So if you know me and you've heard my story, there's videos everywhere. If you go on YouTube and look up Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear, you'll see it. You'll see the videos. But one of the things I did at a very young age is I was conditioned, psychologically conditioned, made a neural association to love equals pain. I recognized that many years ago, and that love that equaled pain all had to do with abandonment, issues, being away from my father, and just that type of background. So it did lead into my adulthood, and to this day it still affects my love relationships. And over the last couple of years, I've realized and grown so much in the relationship that I was in. So going back, for those of you who don't know me, I was married for 32 years. Same woman for 32 years. 3 years ago, got separated. And I started dating a woman on and off for the last 2 years. And I say on and off because we had challenges. We had breakups and we'd get back together. We'd have breaks and we'd get back together. But we had this really strong spiritual connection where each time we'd have a challenge and we'd have the breakup, we were able to analyze it and look at it and learn from it. And that's why I think we were able to come back together the times that we did. Sometimes the person comes into your life that you need, that'll help you recognize your own baggage, your own bullshit, your own connections, the negative things that we connect in our lives. The subconscious mind remembers everything you've been told, you've heard. We are conditioned by our upbringing and the things that have happened to us, and in our subconscious mind we react to things based on our subconscious and experiences we had, and we don't even realize it. So I thought I had healed from the love equals pain thing, and what I found is that I haven't fully healed from it, because when I first met this woman and started to feel for her, I battled it. I tried to leave. I was scared. I told her, like, hey, I can't do this, and I really believe that God put us together in our lives. The universe brought us back together because we had some really incredible experiences where I believe we've lived and been in relationships before throughout many other lives. But we learn from each other every time. And there's a lot of people out there who are in relationships and they go from one person to the next, and it's because as soon as something happens that's uncomfortable, they walk away. They don't want to deal with it. Instantly, it's like, oh, I don't want that, and they walk away instead of working on it, instead of trying to fix it, instead of paying attention to why. Why am I triggered by this? What is causing me to want to run? And then they get into another relationship, and the same thing happens, and the same thing happens over and over and over again. And I meet so many women. I'll tell you the difference between I see in the men and the women. I meet so many women who just want to be loved. They want to be loved. They want to be taken care of. And so they go from man to man, and they trust man to man, and they think that, okay, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one, the love of my life. And then something happens, and they break it off, and they're heartbroken, and they go to the next one. This is the love of my life. And I believe you're truly trying to stay and want things to work. But if you don't understand why, the whys, why do you do what you do? Why do you act the way that you act? Why do you feel the way that you feel? Why do you get triggered by the things that are happening in that relationship? Then it'll never work. And what I see with men, and this is for myself and a few other men that I've met, men will just give up. I don't want to date, right? Like, I don't want to date. I'm just going to be on my own. I don't want to deal with all of that. And at some point we give in, and we meet somebody and we think they're wonderful. But if we're not able to look at ourselves is the key. Look at me. What am I doing? How am I reacting? Why am I being triggered? Why am I being affected by this person? What is happening? Is it valid or is it not? And there are some things in relationships that are valid that need to be fixed, that need to be discussed, that need to be worked on together as a couple. And then there are things that are just your own bullshit, my own bullshit. That's the truth. And I'm able to analyze that and look at it and go, okay, this is my shit. And I have to take a breath and understand that it's not valid, even if it's valid to me, but it's not valid. If you could look at the whole picture and go, this is really, it's baloney. Then be able to step back, look at that, and then be able to work through it. If you can do that, you have better relationships. Being single, I'll go out to dinner or something, and I'll usually just, find a decent place, and I'll sit at the bar and, have dinner at the bar and one drink or something. And what I found is that there's usually men by themselves. In fact, walking here at the beach, ladies are either with their man or they're with other ladies. But I see a lot of men just by themselves, just like me, walking around, right? I see a lot of men just by themselves, walking around, enjoying Christmas Day. Whether they feel lonely or they're just alone and they're okay with it, I don't know. I know I'm right in the middle. It bothers me sometimes when I'm here and out and about and holidays by myself, and I justify and I think about it and I go, it's okay. Yes, today is the celebration of Jesus' birth, and it's a wonderful thing. I believe in God and Jesus Christ, and I praise God and I have faith. But in addition to that, it's just another day. So why do I feel bad? Why would I need to allow myself to feel bad today versus any other day, right? So going back, I see these guys, and I purposefully will start a conversation with these single guys that I see, especially in my age. Let's just say above 45. And I see these guys, and they're sitting there by themselves, having dinner, having a drink, just like me, by themselves. And I would ask them, hey man, how you doing? Start a conversation. And I'd be straightforward. Hey, I'm very curious. Are you married? No. Are you in a relationship? No. Why? I want to know why. Right? That's how you learn. You ask, seek and you shall find. And I said, why? And I said this over and over to many men, like what do you call it? Like I'm doing I forget the word, where you just ask people questions over and over again. A survey. Anyhow, okay, no, you don't have a wife. No, you don't have a girlfriend. Why? At your age, my age, why aren't you in a relationship? And I get two things. One is, these women out here are crazy. And this is not an insult, I'm just telling you what I hear. These women out here are crazy, and nowadays they just want to take everything from you. Give me this, give me that, give me. And as soon as you ask for something back, they're like, no. And I've experienced this, just giving, and then saying, hey, it would be nice, if, I don't expect it, but at least try. At least say hey, volunteer. Hey, can I pay for dinner? Right? And I would say no, but volunteer. Hey, can I pay for dinner? Can I take you out? Something like that. And I've asked that question, and this person got really angry. Like, why would I do that? You're the man. Why would I do that? And I just didn't say anything. I was like, I'm just asking, reciprocation a little bit. And big explosion, honestly, like this, because of this and that and that. Why would I do that? And I was just like, ooh, wow. So a lot of men see that in women these days, where give me, but give nothing back. That's one thing. The other thing is these guys are saying is them. They look at themselves and go, I'm hard to deal with. I'm stuck in my ways, and it's just hard for me. And the guys who say stuff like that also say, I had this incredible woman, and I just couldn't get out of my head, and I couldn't get out of my own stubborn ways, and I lost her, And he's like, this one guy particularly, he was like, and so I don't even want to try anymore, right? So they gave up. They basically just gave up. So there's the relationship where there's a taker, and there's many of them. And then there's the relationship where the guy is just like, I can't get out of my head. I'm pretty stuck in this. I'm stuck in my own stubborn ways. I can't change, which is a myth, a lie. I can't change, and so I just gave up. And then there's another one. And right now, I put myself in this category. There's a lot of fear in love and in relationships, and love equals pain. There's a lot of fear. And I pay attention, and I find the challenges that I create in my last relationship. And let me say this too. I'm new to dating. I'm new to relationships, right? I was married for 32 years in a relationship, and then I started dating this person. I've never dated before, and that was some of the challenges in the beginning, and I don't think this person believed it, because she had been single for many, many years and had dated. So she understands the dating world and how it works and what you do or what you don't do, what you say, what you don't say, at least to her own perspective. We all have our own perspective and value, right? I had no idea. I truly didn't have any idea about dating after all those years being in marriage. So when I would say I don't understand, I don't know that, I didn't understand that, and so on and so forth, I don't think this person believed me, because, if you're a brain surgeon, doing brain surgery is easy for you. If you're not, you have no idea, right? So I have no idea how to date. Anyhow, I started working through that. When I say I put the category I find myself in, is there's a lot of fear, right? And this is where I'm starting to noticing the love equals pain thing coming into play. In the beginning, I got to know this person. We got to know each other, and we were completely different people than we are now. But we worked through it. We really did work through a lot of things, and it was so awesome, because we were both growing and willing to grow for each other. And that's a wonderful thing, and this really strong bond spiritually, and we had these amazing just experiences together, and we saw each other in other lives, in different worlds, and that gets deeper, and we just had these plans, and we would picture ourselves in the home we were going to have and all of these things. And it was so incredible. But my side, right, and I have nothing to say negative about the other person. She has her own, and she can deal with her own and talk about her own if she wants. But on my side, there was a lot of fear. They're like, oh my God, this person loves me. This person loves me, and I love this person. Like, and I would honestly ask myself, why does this person love me? Like, and I wanted to, why do you love me, right? And through my studies and everything else that I do, and self-development and traumas and all these things, that I'm a huge student of psychology and neuroscience, I know that people who are affected by childhood trauma, especially like abandonment, they fear love. And there's so many challenges in our lives, and we fear love. When we actually meet somebody who loves us, we question it, right? And that's a sense of worthiness. We question it, like, why? Like, oh my God, like, this person really loves me, why? And I had that, and I felt that. And it's sad, because if somebody can truly love you, but you fear the love, you'll push them away. It's a horrible thing. Because we hurt them, right? And you've heard hurt people hurt people. Now, with that said, it wasn't one-sided. We both had trauma, right? This woman shared things with me. They were very intimate, and I know there were some things that she didn't share with anybody else in her life. And I shared things with her. So we had this bond. So she has her own, I have my own, but again, I'm talking about mine and what I know about me. Trauma, childhood trauma, if you don't know that it's affecting your life, you need to look into it. Because most of us have something. If it has to do with love, then it's going to hurt your relationships, whether it be with your kids, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, like I said, whatever, your business, your sales, everything. So, where are you at in your relationships? Are you the one that's going relationship to relationship? Are you the one that's just giving up? Are you the one that's just like, I have no idea what's happening and I would love to be in love and I just want to, be happy? Going back to what I was just talking about, that's where I find myself, is exactly there. I'm not into the single life. I'm not into wanting to be at the clubs and all those types of things. And when I was in this relationship, we would go out, but we'd go out together, right? So we'd go out together. We might go to, a little lounge or a bar or something, and we had a lot of fun together. But I'm not a clubbing, like by myself, bar hopping type of guy. I would much rather be in a relationship. I would much rather be married, honestly. I'd much rather be married and be in a relationship and not be alone or lonely. So in the beginning, I started talking about the difference between being alone and being lonely. And I'm honestly just learning that now. I get super lonely. And there are times that I allow myself to drop and get into the whole poor me bullshit, but I got to bring myself out of it. And some people that I know that have been single for a very long time, and they don't even date. Honestly, they don't date. Like they're not looking for a relationship. They tell me it's okay to be alone. You got to be comfortable just being by yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. So I've been trying to practice and understand that. And I saw a meme on social media or something the other day, and it said the difference in being alone and lonely. And it was a guy sitting there on a bench, park bench or something, and he was sad, and he was down, he looked depressed and the whole thing. And it said lonely above it. And then the next guy was sitting there, he was reading a book, he had a smile on his face, and he was just enjoying himself, and it said being alone. So you can be alone and not be lonely. You can be alone and not be lonely. And after all those years of being in a marriage, relationship, obviously, and then getting separated, and then started dating again, I've dated one person, I still have to learn how to be alone. I haven't learned to do that yet. So I'm walking out here in Newport Beach right now, on the beach by myself, and I'm feeling okay with it, right? I got up this morning, it was a beautiful sunny day, and I started to feel a little bit like dropping, kind of like a depression, a sadness, and I said, nope, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to allow it. There's too many wonderful things happening, and I said, I'm going to go to the beach. I love the beach. In fact, I think I am going to take off my shoes real quick and ground. I'm on my way walking back now, but it'd be a shame to come to the beach and not get some grounding. And do you ground? Grounding is really important. Whenever I come to the beach, that's really the reason why, is to do some grounding. There we go. Feels good. Whenever I come to the beach, I really come to do some grounding. A lot of people go to the beach and they just love it and they feel so good after and the whole thing, and they don't realize why. But it's because your bare skin, your feet are in the sand and you're grounding, or you're in the water and it's just healing. Side note. Anyhow, being alone versus lonely, understanding that childhood trauma does follow us into our adulthood, and it screws up our relationships. I've learned that, right? So I can look at my marriage, and there, I'm not even gonna get into why that ended also, but I would have preferred it didn't. But what happened, it needed to. It was valid. In my opinion, my personal opinion, there's only one reason that a marriage should be ended. Well, there's two that a marriage should be ended, and it was one of those. So then I got into this relationship, and man, I learned so much. I thank God for this woman. I really do. And I say if things could be different, it would be wonderful. But they're just not, right? They're just not. There's some things that don't work. So I don't want to say I'm looking, but the right woman will come, right? And the right man will come for her. and the right woman will come, um, and we'll be happy. You know, we'll walk the beach together, and we'll do things together, and we'll be in the same mindset and growth mode, and we'll be partners. You know, and that's really, I think, what I'm seeking is somebody to be right by my side, and I don't mean physically all the time, but just support what I do, support who I am, and you know, that I fall sometimes, and sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down, and I need to do the same thing for that person. You know, we're human, and there always will be challenges, but I really don't want to be single. I'm not interested in going to clubs and all that type of thing, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but if I'm honest, I want to meet somebody and I want it to be forever. I'm not interested in dating one person after another. And you know, since my separation, I've dated one person, and I don't want to get to three. I don't want to get to like three. I don't want to date again and then have something go wrong. So I really got to focus on me. I really got to make sure the next one, from beginning to end, all things that we are in alignment with, you know. And I think what I've learned is to ask questions, be bold, ask questions, and be accepting and understanding, and pay attention to what I can be accepting and understanding too. And then there are things that are just not negotiable, right? For all of us. There are things about me that may be a non-negotiable for whoever I meet. And that's okay, right? So we got to be okay with that and just not fall deeply in love, right, as soon as we meet and that type of thing, because people need love. We are love. We are God's love. We are one with this universe. And when we fear love, we say, I don't need it, and I don't want anybody. I don't need anybody. But people need connection. People need love. People need connection. And I'm not afraid to say it. I want to be in love. I want to be married. I don't want to be dating. And I don't want to be 4 relationships down the road and then give up and be just like, none of this shit works, right? So I say to you, man or woman, when you're single, when you're alone, not lonely, that before you jump in, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to really ask about the past and see, you know? And for me, honestly, I'm very transparent. I mean, for those of you who know me, shoot, everywhere you Google my name, Raul Lopez Jr., you'll see everything about me. I mean, my whole life. My whole life. Most people don't know, a lot of people don't know that I was divorced after 32 years. But other than that, my whole life is in my books and on the stage and speeches and talks and everything else. So I don't hide anything about me. So be open and honest. I guess the last thing would be is there are some things about your life that you don't need to share. And this could be controversial. I'm not saying lie. You know, do your best to never lie. If questions are asked, then answer the questions. But there are some things that a man doesn't want to know about you. There are some things that a woman doesn't want to know about the man. And sometimes even if they ask and you answer, it's going to affect them. It's going to affect the relationship. It's going to bother the relationship. But just be aware of that, you know. And if the reason I say that's controversial, because I am talking about a specific thing, and I'm not going to mention it here. But how do I say it? Some things that happen, or that you've experienced, or that I've experienced, the other person may have trauma around that, right? So if it comes up, then the person will be affected by it. Whether they try to ignore it and say it shouldn't be a big deal or whatever it is, they will be affected by it, and it can cause trouble in the relationship. So that's controversial, because it almost goes back to, it goes against what I've been saying as far as being honest, being open, asking questions and talking and the whole thing. But part of being honest and asking questions is maybe you ask those questions to make sure that there are things that won't come up later that you know will bother you, that you know will hinder the relationship. Anyhow, I don't know if this is long. I don't know if this was helpful, but I'm kind of just clearing my mind. And I know I've learned over the years, you know, everything, the experiences that I've had in my life, when I share them, I'm not the only one experiencing those things. I'm not the only one having the good, the bad, and the ugly times. And people can relate. The good stuff, yeah, me too, awesome. Yeah, me too, ooh, that happened to me too, man, thanks. Or I'm going through that right now. I love what you said, you know? So I'm gonna just wrap up and kind of generalize everything I've talked about for the last 25 minutes. Childhood trauma will lead into your adulthood. It'll affect your business, it'll affect your job, it'll affect your relationships, your love relationships, it'll affect your kids, your family in general. You might find yourself walking alone on the beach during the holidays, but that could be okay. You have to be open to looking at yourself. If you're always looking at the other person, you're never going to fix yourself. If you're always looking at the other person, you're always going to find something wrong. What you seek, you shall find. If you're looking for what's wrong, you will find it. I hope earlier I said that's one of my challenges, what I did. I was looking for why things wouldn't work. I was looking for what was wrong, and you can find that. So look for what's right. Understand that there are non-negotiables, and find those out in the beginning so you don't fall in love with each other and then hurt each other. Hurt people, right? It's all trauma. The difference between being lonely and alone. I talked a little bit about that. There's a bunch of stuff that I talked about. I think those are the ones in general. In efforts of you being happy in love, in a wonderful relationship. If you're bouncing from relationship to relationship, think about some of these things. If you're interested in just being with one person for the rest of your life, think about these types of things. Pay attention to who you are. Pay attention to you. You can go back and look at the challenges you've had in your relationships. And if you look at you specifically, it doesn't matter what the other person did or didn't do. Look at you specifically and go, what did I do wrong? Take responsibility for your stuff, right? When I say wrong, it doesn't mean like, oh, you're bad, you did something wrong. It might be psychological, right? It could be subconscious because of trauma that you didn't even realize that you have. So pay attention, look at that, you know, and get better. You can look at, this happened for me, and it's happened to this wonderful woman I was dating, is as we grew, we were able to look back at our past relationship and go, ooh, I see what happened there. I see what happened, you know, throughout those things. But what I think we both agreed on is that all the challenges that we had, in addition to all the wonderful times that we had, it was all for a purpose. It was all for purpose, and that we learned so much. And, you know, we're both better people. We're both better people for the time that we spent together. So many blessings. I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas. I hope your life is wonderful. I hope your relationships are wonderful. If they're not, hey, reach out. I'm going to actually start a men's group. That's something different than what I'm talking about. I'm going to start a men's group because I know there's a lot of men. I've been looking for like a men's group, and I'm out there seeking and asking questions on social media about a men's group. And I get a ton of other men going, I'm looking for the same thing. So I'm like, shoot, maybe we should just start one ourselves then, you know? It's a lot of work, but if I can get 3 or 4 guys to jump in and really be honest and want to help and serve, I think it would be a good thing. And ladies, take some of this stuff to the heart, man. Social media screws you up. Screws all up, right? We compare everything on social media. You know, we look at even on Christmas right now, and people are on vacations and all their families and fun and all these types of things. But outside of social media, that's most of the time that's not real. The whole family might be arguing and screaming and hating each other, and then they take a quick picture of smiling. You know, a lot of relationships are like that too. So don't compare social media. You know, you see these couples have been together forever and they have children and wonderful families and all these things. They're not perfect. We all struggle, you know? And we look at those. And I say, I'm talking about women right now. I'm not talking about women, but I'm kind of directing towards women, because women also, they just want to be in love. They want a man to take care of them and love them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I find it difficult, you know, as we get older, say over 45, like I mentioned, and we all have kids, and we have, you know, grandkids, and we have this and we have that. We have all these things in our lives that we already have to pay attention to. Like, they're part of our life. So when somebody else comes into it, we have to figure out how to manage all of that and not be overwhelmed by it. That's one thing that I saw in this relationship that I was in, is this woman lovingly wanted to wholeheartedly be in a relationship with just me. But I have kids and she has kids. And, you know, when we were together, just her and I, man, we had a great time. You know, we just loved each other, and we hung out and we laughed and we joked and we did all these things. But that was just a piece of our lives, because the other piece was me visiting my kids, her having her kids, and the whole thing. And I don't know. That's where I have to look at me and go, could I have made that work? So I know she got very stressed in trying to balance it all out. That created some challenges, you know. And then I got stressed trying to balance it all out, and that caused some challenges too. So, is there the perfect relationship? No. Find the person that you're a good match with. And if you do, look at yourself. Look at the challenges you're causing. Are they valid or not? Is very important. Some things we think are valid because it's the way we've been raised or whatever it is, but they're not. They're not valid. It's just the way you're conditioned to believe. And others are valid. Others are valid things that are non-negotiable. So differentiate the two. Do your best to be the better you, and the right person will come into your life, and you guys will make it. I wish you all the blessings, wish you all the love and all the light. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the day.